the 2016 Safina, Florida Winter Tour. Presented by Fixie Wheels. In partnership with Motorsport.com and Ritmo Mundo. Live from Ocala, Florida, here's Tony Laporta.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to West Palm Beach, Florida, the Palm Beach International Raceway for the final round of the 2016 Safina Foods Florida Winter Tour, brought to you by Fixie Wheels. Qualifying now underway here with Rock Senior. This one brought to you by PK Sports. So drivers just completing their first lap, still trying to find some spacing on the 0.8 of a mile road course here. Finding spacing, getting tire temps, engine temps up. What we've got going on as you join us now for Senior Rock qualifying, brought to you by PK Sports. We'll wait just a few moments here as drivers start to set themselves up for some flyers. So drivers here hitting their second timed lap. Surprise, surprise. The 328 Cal Kirkwood currently out in front, 56.537. 56.537 for Kirkwood. Elaine Sisdeli, Alan Galley, Ryan Norberg. Check that. Galley still third. Then it'll be Zach Holden and Franco Carabetta. Your top five. Sixth, Matthew Pisesh. 7th, Carlos Rodriguez. 8th, Zach Banks. 9th, Ryan Norberg. 10th. 10th now, Ryan Norberg as Mauricio Hernandez moves up here. Drivers completing their third lap. Under 5 minutes remain. Kyle Kirkwood still out in front here as we wait on his third timed lap across the stripe. And it's even quicker, a 56.275. So 56.275 for Kyle Kirkwood. 0.3 of a second over Elaine Sisdeli. The 56.587. So the Ocala Grand Prix driver, Kyle Kirkwood. And a points battle here this weekend with the 348 of Ryan Norberg. Currently quick time looking for those 5 bonus points to go fastest. Drivers now hitting their 4th time by. Holden does his best. P number 4 still, 56.865. So Holden, 56.865. So Kirkwood, Sisdeli, Galley, Holden, Norberg. Then it'll be Roman DeAngelis in 6th. Franco Carabetta 7th. Matthew Pisesh 8th. Mauricio Hernandez 9th. And Zach Banks top 10. Norberg jumps up now into the 3rd spot, 56.536. Meanwhile, Kirkwood goes even faster, 56.194. So still 0.3 of a second plus as we approach the 3-minute mark here on the racetrack. Holden not faster on his 5th lap. Carabetta faster, still 6th. DeAngelis fastest lap, still P7. Zach Banks up into P number 8 now. Pretty big spread here. 0.9 of a second separates the top 10. But 3 of those separate first and second as Kyle Kirkwood continues to have the pace here up top. 56.194 for Kirkwood over Elaine Sisdeli's 56.526. So Kirkwood not faster on his 5th circuit here. Under 2.5 minutes remain. PK Sports, Senior Rock. As you see on your screens at home, drivers twisting and turning, making their way around the 0.8 of a mile road course here at Palm Beach International. We watch 2 minutes remaining now. Seeing people continue to circuit, maybe trying to find a little bit of space for a last-minute ditch effort. Try and better their times. Kirkwood, Cistelli, Norberg, Galley, Holden. Still the top 5. Carabetta, DeAngelis, Hernandez, Banks, Passess, your top 10. A little bit further down. Rodriguez, Raffles, Booz, Seward, Collins, Andros, and Sterling Fairman. Fairman not having a recorded time on the session. So if you're looking at race monitor, Kirkwood, 1:124 last time by, took a little bit of a lift off. Found himself in a different position on the racetrack. Little does he know, he's got him covered by over 0.3 of a second. DeAngelis up into Pete, number 6, 56.940. Roman DeAngelis out of Canada. So Kirkwood, Cistelli, Norberg, Galley, Holden. Under a minute here. Rock Senior, brought to you by PK Sports. Championship on the line this weekend with Kirkwood and Norberg. Norberg had the edge coming into today. I believe it was 11 points. The 5 bonus for the pole. Bring it within 10 here for Kyle Kirkwood. He tries to do what he's done all season long here. The Sofino Foods Florida Winter Tour. Brought to you by Fixie Wheels, and that is just be outright faster than everybody. Of course, some situations earlier throughout the tour that have put the points battle where it is, but nonetheless, you still got to be able to close the deal to win it. 1 second, now the clock hits 0. Checkered flag in the air. Kirkwood, 56.194. Cistelli, 56.526. Ryan Norberg, third, 56.536. Allen Galley, 56.630. And Zach Holden rounds out your top 5, 56.865. So as the clock strikes 0 and the checkered flag waves, drivers trying to make a last-minute attempt here. Jump up in the standings. So Rock Senior now off the racetrack and on the pole. The number 328 Ocala Grand Prix Tony Kart, Kyle Kirkwood. Clear the field by 0.3 of a second here in Senior Rock. Coming up next will be Rock Masters. So Rock Masters coming your way soon. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here. Masters Rock now on track for qualifying. For loud drivers to come through here trying to pick up some lap times. See. Of course, Masters Rock brought to you by Bordonia Racing Engines. This is class number 2 in our rotation here from Palm Beach International. As you are watching the final round of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, brought to you by Fixie Wheels. So those drivers have completed their second lap. It is Adam Pettit out in front, 58.381. Over Anthony Honeywell, a 58.467. Ryan Gordon, Jonas Eiler, Bruno Fusaro, Josh Martin, Daniel Reiger, Troy Trey Smith, and Mark Julian. Drivers have about 4.5 minutes remaining here, and Anthony Honeywell now to the top spot as he goes purple. The 677 of Anthony Honeywell, 58.165, 58.165, 2/10 over Adam Pettit. 1 and 2 on track right now for qualifying. Honeywell and Pettit the same way they look in the points. Honeywell out in front coming into the final weekend here. Pettit second in points, 33 back. Honeywell, 58.165. Be Pettit, Reiger, Gordon, Eiler. It's your top 5 here. Fusaro, Martin, Smith, and Julian. That time by Anthony Honeywell even faster. 57 now. 57.996. The first sub 58 second lap here in Masters qualifying. Almost a full 4/10 of a second separates Honeywell and Pettit now. Three minutes now remain on the clock, and Honeywell still holds that massive margin here over Pettit as he's trying to increase his points lead here, getting these qualifying 5 bonus points, same as he did at the last round in Ocala. So Honeywell, Pettit, Reiger, Gordon, Eiler, your top 5. 2.5 minutes remaining. So less than a minute and a half remains here for Masters Rock, brought to you by Bordonia Racing Engines, and nothing has changed up front. It's Anthony Honeywell, almost 4/10 of a second clear of Adam Pettit. That'll be Daniel Reiger, Ryan Gordon, Janos Eiler. Your top 5 here, that'll be Fusaro, Martin, Smith, and Julian. Honeywell leads the points over Pettit by 33 going into qualifying. He maximized points for the most part in Ocala last month. So 10 seconds remain here in Masters Rock qualifying, and Anthony Honeywell. I don't think anybody's going to have anything for him here, as he will take the 5 bonus points. Before we go into heat race action just a little bit later on, and he will hold the pole position here for Rock Masters, brought to you by Bordonia Racing Engines. The 677 Praga Anthony Honeywell, almost 0.4 of a second out in front of Adam Pettit. Then it'll be Daniel Reiger, Ryan Gordon, Jonas Eiler, Bruno Fusaro, Josh Martin, Troy Trey Smith, and Mark Julian. Coming up next, we'll have Mini Rock, brought to you by Ocala Grand Prix. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, as we'll be right back in just a few moments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Palm Beach International Raceway. This is Mini Rock now on track. Doing a little bit of qualifying here. Driver's still kind of getting up to speed. We've got one driver off here in front of the tower. The 188, Luca Mars. Looks like a possible chain has come off. He's doing his best effort to get it back on here. The driver's still trying to find a reasonable gap, a little bit of spacing here so they can put together a flyer. So as drivers start to lay down some laps here in Mini Rock. Jetpack Jack Crawford out in front early here on the 152 machine. Lap time, 1 minute 2.356. 1 minute 2.356. There's a time here. It'll be Matias Morgado, 10th of a second back from Crawford. Be Reese Gold, Devin Gomez, Ashton Chilton. It's currently your top five here. Mini Rock, of course, another fantastic battle when it comes to the grand scheme of things with the points. As Derek Carminate leads it currently coming into the weekend by 134 points over Matias Morgado, followed by Jack Crawford, Tyler Max, and Reese Gold in the top five, all of which mathematically still eligible here. So about 7.5 minutes remaining, and Reese Gold now to the top here. Minute 2.174. Almost 0.2 of a second up on Jetpack Jack Crawford as you watch on your monitors. Or if you're on the fence line here at Palm Beach, you can see that there is one big group of carts. Everybody trying to maximize their drafting. It'll be Crawford, Morgado, Montoya, and then your current points leader, Derek Carminate, rounding out the top five. That'll be Devin Gomez, James Agozi, Caleb Bacon. Check that. As Agozi goes to P number 2, but Gold backs up his spot on top. So Gold, minute 2.130. Just over 10th of a second advantage over Bennick driver James Agozi. Be the Bureau, Sebastian Montoya. Then be Jack Crawford, Matias Morgado, Derek Carminate, Devin Gomez, Caleb Bacon, Santiago Trissany, and Ashton Chilton, your top 10 here. So just about 6 minutes remaining. As you can see on your monitor, a whole group of carts making their way down here. The turns 1 and 2 complex, one of the newer upgrades, the Palm Beach karting facility. So now 6 minutes even on the clock. Reese Gold still out in front with a minute 2.130 here in Mini Rock. This one brought to you by the fine folks at Ocala Grand Prix, who played host to us at round number 2 of the Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, brought to you by Fixie Wheels. So we get a visual here on this group of carts that is producing the best lap times. See all in line drafting down the back straightaway here. One driver pops out of line. So the trick to this one is being able to get yourself in the perfect situation on track, have the proper gap so you can make a full charge without being slowed down, utilize the draft, and hopefully put yourself up top. Mini Rock has been bringing us some of the best racing action so far during the Florida Winter Tour. And they continue to do it so far here in Palm Beach. Is Reese Gold, The number 155 ticketclinic.com special. Still out in front by just over a tenth of a second over James Agozi. Then it will be Sebastian Montoya. Now Caleb Bacon up to fourth. Jetpack Jack Crawford in the fifth spot. Little shout out to our main man, Tony Laporta. He is in St. Petersburg, Florida with the father of Sebastian Montoya with Juan Pablo. The Verizon IndyCar Series event with the Mazda Road to Indy. So we would like to tip our hat to our good buddy Tony Laporta, wishing he was here, but he's off trying to advance his career, and we wish him all the best of luck. Look forward to having him back here in the booth at Palm Beach next weekend. So Gold, Agozi, Montoya, Bacon, and Crawford, your top five here. Nothing changing as far as the top three lap times. So just under 4 minutes remaining. So as we take a look here, about 3 minutes remaining, a little bit further down the field, obviously up front, it's still Reese Gold. Then it'll be James Agozi, Sebastian Montoya, Caleb Bacon, Jack Crawford, Matias Morgado, Derek Carminante, Devin Gomez, Santiago Tristani, Ashton Chilton, your top 10. Then it'll be Tyler Maxon, Justin Arsenault, William Robusto, Yusuf Mula, Felipe Bartz, Isabella Robusto, Andres Francis Castro, Anthony Willis, Alex Jankowski, and Arias Duke Medjin, top 20. It'll be Travis Devendorf, Euronimo Barrio, Jack Jeffers, Karsten DeFonts, Donald Horton, Justin White, Victor Cirillo, Jordan Menge, Arturo Alcalde. A little bit further down here as we're continuing to track these drivers. 2.5 minutes to go here in Mini Rock. As you can see on your monitors, that group started to break up a little bit. Now drivers are being able to get a little bit of separation, potentially make some moves here as we are under 2 minutes remaining. Of course, Mini and Micro Rock, both groups are going to be a little bit longer in their session for qualifying than the other groups. A lot of these drivers here last weekend as well, doing some testing on these Rock engines. The Rock Cup USA, round number 1 of their schedule. Many people got many of laps over the last 12 or so days here, and starting to show as they've kind of settled in and they've laid down some fast laps. Now 1 minute remaining. Big question is, does anybody have anything for the 155 of Reese Gold? Minute 2.130 for the number 155 Bennick. 40 seconds now on the clock for these Mini Rock drivers. So 10 seconds left on the clock. Some of these drivers might squeak by to get one more shot at it. 3, 2, 1. checkered flag out, and the group on your screen will get one more opportunity here. Meanwhile, it's still gold. Egozi, Montoya, Bacon, Crawford, Morgado, Carbonate, Gomez, Tristany, and Chilton. Your top 10 here. As we follow these drivers on your screen as they cross the start-finish line here. Unless somebody can pull a rabbit out of a hat, it looks like Reese Gold will be your Mini Rock pole sitter, brought to you by Ocala Grand Prix. So the final group off the final corner. Does anybody have anything for Reese Gold? No, and Reese Gold's going to hold on to it. Minute 2.130. Clear the field by plus 1/10 of a second. So the number 155 Ticket Clinic Special, the Bennett machine of Reese Gold, will be your Mini Rock pole sitter here. This one was brought to you by Ocala Grand Prix. Next up, Shifter, Senior, and Masters, brought to you by Duke Spine, will be coming your way. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Palm Beach International for the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour. Brought to you by Fixie Wheels. On track now and on your monitors at home. You have Rock Shifter, Senior and Masters on track together, scored separately, of course. These classes brought to you by Duke Spine. Currently out in front, it is the Ocala Grand Prix Tony Kart 429 machine of Austin Garrison. Running second, it'll be the PSL Bureau, the 405 of Oliver Askew. Then it'll be the DR of Danny Formal. It'll be Don Whittington, AJ Myers, Gianfranco Mazzafaro, Colin Daly, Augusto Stoto Sharipa, Jason Alden. Check that as Alden now goes to 8th with Samuel Gurin still in the 10th spot. So we look here for our first Masters driver on the charts. That'll be Carlos Fonseca. That'll be Michael LeGrand. And that'll be Victor Jimenez. Scott Davidson in 4th there in Masters. So points still tight here in the Shifter Masters division as Victor Jimenez holds the advantage of 91 points over Scott Davidson. And in Senior, it is 22 points separating Austin Garrison and Danny Formal. So 3 minutes to go. Garrison still out in front by just about a 1/10 and a half over Oliver Askew. And almost 2 full tenths over Danny Formal. Got Tony Kart versus Birrell versus DR. Colin Daly on the DR kart this weekend as well. His teammate Danny Formal sits in P4. And Don Whittington, P5 on the Tony Kart. About a minute 40 to go here. Nothing changing. Overall, still Garrison, Askew, Formal, Daly, Whittington. Cole Matthewson now into the 6th spot. AJ Myers in 7th. Gianfranco Mazzafaro in the 8th spot. Jason Alden 9th. And Augusto Stoto Sharipa in the 10th spot. Andy Pedroso 11th on the PCR machine. So Myers on the iKart, the American-made product here. In 7th was his fastest lap last time by, 54.278. Just about 7/10 of a second off of Austin Garrison. So 1 minute on the clock now. So Garrison still laying it down. Askew that time by, not any faster. He did a 53.809. Comparing to his best so far, which was lap 3 at 53.734. So 15 seconds remaining here. Austin Garrison still holding on to that top spot here in Rock Shifter Senior and Masters qualifying, brought to you by Duke Spine. Checkered flag now in the air. Garrison, Askew, Formal, Daly, Whittington, your top 5. Most drivers already in the scale line. Try and get a rundown here for our Masters drivers. Carlos Fonseca, Michael Legrand, and Victor Jimenez. Your top 3 here in Masters. As the clock has struck 0, the checkered flag has been deployed. Trying to see if there's going to be any changes here. It looks like that'll do it. So Masters, Fonseca, Legrand, Jimenez, and in senior be Garrison, Askew, and Formal. Coming up next will be Micro Rock, brought to you by AM Engines. I want to thank you for tuning in here to live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Palm Beach International. Qualifying still underway here for Micro Rock. This one brought to you by AM Engines. And out in front, Oliver Denny, the number 43 machine. Minute 3.568, tenth of a second over Anderson Leonard, Alex Popow, Paige Crawford, Jeremy Fletcher, Lucas Rodriguez, Nicholas Terlecki, Emo Fittipaldi, Ian Sebastian Leone, and Freddie Slater. About 7 minutes remaining here is Oliver Denny out in front in Micro Rock. So as you can see on your screen at home here in Micro Rock, the draft, such an advantage if you can get teamed up with the right drafting partner. But it's still Oliver Denny besting the field with a minute 3.568 second lap time. The number 18 of Anderson Leonard is second. The number 10 of Alex Popow third. 37 of Paige Crawford is fourth. The 22 of Jeremy Fletcher rounds out your top five. So 5 minutes now remaining. Nothing changing here in Micro Rock. Oliver Denny still out in front over Anderson Leonard and Alex Popow. "30 drivers here on the racetrack in Micro Rock. So a very large field today. So we're looking for some change up front. About 4.5 minutes remaining. Fletcher now to P, number 3. So Jeremy Fletcher, minute 3.805, about 2.5 tenths of a second back from Oliver Denny. Just about 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock here in Micro Rock. This one brought to you by AM Engines. And for the last about minute and a half, there have been absolutely no changes up top here. Denny, Leonard, Fletcher, Popow, Crawford, Rodriguez, Terlecki, Fittipaldi, Johnson, and Freddie Slater, your top 10. Then it'll be Zilich, Junkos, Leon, Ambiato, Pera, Baker, Jeffers. It's your top 17. It'll be Frankie Latavea, 18th. Miguel Costa, 19th. Tanner Garvin, 20th. Riker Mattis, 21st. Paul Bacuzzi, 22nd. Sebastian Guerrero, 23rd. Long list of drivers here as we watch on your monitor or from the fence line. Big groups, drivers trying to get that perfect lap laid down and put together. But the clock is winding down in a hurry. So we've got one driver over off turn number 11. Driver's right, backwards in the wrong direction. Up on the hill, corner workers tending to that driver currently. Meanwhile, you can see on your monitors that the competition here in this class is going to be some good action. Going to produce some great racing with the technical aspect as well as the long straightaways here at Palm Beach International all weekend long. You see just how close these drivers are to one another through all these switchbacks. So about 35 seconds remaining on the clock. Oliver Denny, the number 43 Bennick, still out in front on the time charts. So we now have two drivers off in turn number 1. Getting cleared out of the way, local yellow flags flying. 10 seconds remaining on the clock, though. Does anybody have anything for Oliver Denny? Oliver Denny with a lap time. Minute 3.568. A little bit more than a tenth of a second clear of second place Anderson Leonard. Also on the Bennick. And then Jeremy Fletcher on the Tony Kart, your top 3. As you can see on your monitor, drivers pushing one final time. As you can see on your monitors now, the final drivers headed down into turn number 11. Trying to get just a little bit more out of it. And it looks like that'll be it. Oliver Denny, Anderson Leonard, Jeremy Fletcher. That'll be Alex Popow, Paige Crawford, Lucas Rodriguez, Nicholas Terlecki, Connor Zilich, Emo Fittipaldi, and Nikita Johnson rounding out your top 10 here in Micro Rock. That one brought to you by AM Engines. So we've got one group left here in qualifying. That'll be Junior Rock, brought to you by Orsalon Racing in just a few moments. So don't go anywhere, folks. This is live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, brought to you by Fixie Wheels. for the Orlando, but not enough. So McDermott still holds it. 2 seconds left on the clock. Checkered flag now in the air. So drivers crossing the stripe now are on their cool down lap, but the ones on your screen are on their final flyer of qualifying. As they stand, McDermott, DeOrlando, Latifi, Nolan, Goulart, your top 5. Hollingshead, Petrulli, Gonzalez, Ramirez, Suleiman up into the top 10. But it's not over yet. On your screen, you can see it. One more lap here for some of these drivers. One more opportunity to earn those 5 bonus points that are so crucial. Off of turn number 11 they come to the stripe. Checkered flag in the air by Cam Hager. And nothing changes. It appears Ryan McDermott on board the number 216 machine will be your junior rock pole sitter, followed by Michael DeOrlando, Matthew Latifi, Jet Nolan, Pedro Goulart, Zachary Hollingshead, Gabriel Petrulli, Tyler Gonzalez, Matias Ramirez, and Anthony Zapponi slips into the top 10 here on the final lap. So that's going to wrap up qualifying, folks. We're going to dive off here for a little station identification before we come back with heat race action. This is the live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour presented by Fixie Wheels, and it is heat race time. So you're high above Palm Beach International Raceway. 0.8 of a mile road course here, and first up will be Rock Senior. This one brought to you by PK Sports. His drivers now on the racetrack. Let's meet the drivers here. In the 9th row, starting 17th, Sterling Fairman. Row number 8, inside out will be Brandon Collins and Sean Andros. Row number 7, Julia Booz and Robbie Seward. Row number 6, Carlos Rodriguez and Gustavo Raffles. Row number 5, Zach Banks and Matthew Pasesh. Row number 4, Franco Carabeta and Mauricio Hernandez. Row number 3, Zach Holden and Roman DeAngelis. Row number 2, your current points leader, Ryan Norberg and Alan Galley. And on the front row, starting second, the 303 of Elaine Sis-Deli. And on the pole, with a dominant performance of almost 3.5 of a second in qualifying, the Ocala Grand Prix Tony Kart, Kyle Kirkwood. So that is your starting field here. 12 laps will be the distance. And Rock Senior. Of course, this one once again brought to you by PK Sports. So drivers coming here through the cutbacks. Kirkwood now slowing them down. You'll see him go 2 by 2. For those of you at home watching live, we want to thank you for joining us. As we have a special camera here right behind Cam Ager. You can see bottom left of your screen. It'll show him when he throws that green flag. So a new perspective here brought to you by the Max Speed Entertainment Group. Drivers now in the tram lanes. Waiting. Green flag in the air. It's ahead to turn number 11. 5 wide. All the way down as we've got multiple cars off the racetrack. Meanwhile, Kirkwood, Norberg. And then, honestly, I don't know. Down through turns 1 and number 2. This one got shook up like a snow globe there. Kirkwood throws a block pretty quickly on Norberg. Norberg waves to him, lets him know his appreciation for it. Now through turn number 3. Now 4. Head of the left-hander, once again, turn number 5. Norberg all over the back of Kyle Kirkwood. I'd like to think here that the game plan for these drivers is going to be just the same as it was 1 month ago. If you're going to beat Kyle Kirkwood, you better get out in front of him early here. So they come right in front of the tower. Right, left, headed to turn number 11. All about the exit shot here. So everybody's sitting in line, single file. We'll check out timing and scoring here as they come by. So first time through the gates here in this 12-lap heat race. Kirkwood, Norberg, Julia Booz, Matthew Pasesh, Brandon Collins, Gustavo Raffles, Robbie Seward, Sterling Fairman. Fairman started dead last in 17th. Julia Booz came from 13th to 3rd. So like I said, there was a lot of shaking going on there in that turn 1 area here on the start. So unfortunately for some drivers, they got shoved back to a place they hadn't been so far today, but the battle is for the lead. Through all these switchbacks, Kirkwood over Norberg by about 2 kart lengths. Through turn number 11 down the front straightaway. It's about a gap and a half. Norberg with a great run up to the back of Kyle Kirkwood there, about halfway down the straightaway, almost to a complete stop for turn number 1. Now quick left, turn number 2. Who can get the momentum rolling here? Norberg looking to the inside in turn number 3. Nailed it! Ryan Norberg to the point here. And he's going to hold him through 4 and out of turn number 5. 3 kart lengths separate the two. Norberg now out to about 5 cart length advantage. Right hand after left hand. Here come the yeses. Right, left, and Norberg trying to hold on to it. Down to turn number 11. Norberg leading it for the first time. He's going to be about a half a cart length to the inside as they come off that final corner. Look over the left shoulder, head down. They cross the stripe. Kirkwood with a run. To the back bumper, not going to look this time. As you can see from your monitor, the change asphalt to concrete can make things a little bit tricky in the braking zone. So head to turn number 3. Let's give a rundown here of your top 10, as it is Ryan Norberg, Kyle Kirkwood, Matthew Possess, Julia Booz holding on to that 4th spot, Brandon Collins, Sterling Fairman, Robbie Seward, Roman DeAngelis, Zach Holden, Gustavo Raffles. So DeAngelis and Holden on a run here, trying to get back up after that first turn pile up, you could call it. But Julia Booth, Brandon Collins, Matthew Possess all started 10th or further back. Sterling Fairman came from dead last. Robbie Seward came from 14th. So those drivers got a good advantage on the start, and they're holding their own. Meanwhile, Kirkwood pushes Norberg into turn number 1. Norberg up on the cushion. So he's going to overshoot it. Another driver followed him through. Now 8 to 10 cart lengths separate them. So they drove in there big time. Norberg looking for the top shelf action. Nothing there. He allowed Kyle Kirkwood to get underneath them. Now Kirkwood leads it by about 10 cart lengths. So I believe here Julia Booz now back up into the 3rd spot. Then it'll be the 3:18 of Sterling Fairman. So I think Matthew Possess is another driver. Kind of got in the loose stuff there in turn number 1 and lost some positions. He's looking at 5 to go as they cross the stripe right here. So in fact, Possess is the driver who's dropping down the order. Kirkwood, Norberg, Booth, Fairman, and Brandon Collins, your top 5. Then it'll be Roman DeAngelis, Robbie Seward, Zach Holden, Olin Galley, Matthew Possess. Goes from 3rd to 10th that time by. Battles all over the racetrack. 3rd on back. As I believe Sterling Fairman just got in and around Julia Booz in the back section. That's going to put Roman DeAngelis onto her back bumper. As DeAngelis already gotten around Brandon Collins that lap. As he's trying to get another one here. Into turn number 11 is that group. Meanwhile, your leaders hit the stripe. 4 to go here. 4 laps remaining. Into turn number 1, down to a crawl. Objective there, get it stopped, turned back to the throttle, stop, turned back to the throttle again. Pretty complex little area. Turns 1 and 2 now. It goes asphalt, concrete, back to asphalt. But we're watching the battle. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. That's the action. Here comes another mover. Seward's going to throw it to the inside of Collins. Looks like Holden's going to try and come with him. But that's going to put Holden on the outside, not going to be able to hold on to it. As DeAngelis gets around Booz for the 4th spot. So you see the teammates of Holden and DeAngelis carving their way back to the field. As you can see the evident damage on the right side pod of Zach Holden from that turn 1 incident. That side pod and crash bar are anything but straight at this point. Great view there. The motorsport.com complex, turns 1 and 2. You can see the color transition of what we're talking about, going from the asphalt to concrete, back and forth, so on and so forth. It's about 2.5 laps remaining. Kyle Kirkwood out in front. He was challenged early, ran 2nd for a few laps until Norberg got up in the old loose stuff. Turn number 1. Which allowed Kirkwood to get back to the point. But those two have left the field. Sterling Fairman runs third after starting dead last. Then it's Roman DeAngelis, Julia Booz, Robbie Seward, Zach Holden. Then it would be Olin Galley as they come by us. 2 to go here. Dual sticks in the air. As you can see in the corner of your screen, the leaders into turn 1-2, the motorsport.com complex. Leader now to turn number 3. So the battle here, Seward goes to the bottom of Booz. Holden going to try and go with them with Galley. Not going to be able to make it stick just yet. But they are definitely all over the back of that 351 machine. Down into turn number 11 they go. Galley's going to pop on Holden. Holden pops last second on Booz. Almost 3 wide there for a moment. Booz is going to lose 1 spot, potentially 2 here, as they drag race. Galley and Booz down into turn number 1. Galley's going to get it into the braking zone. We are now working the final lap here. Holden out of the back of Seward. Seward on the backside of Fairman. Seward through, Holden through, so Fairman's going to drop 2 just in turn number 3 alone. Norberg trying to challenge Kyle Kirkwood here a little bit. He closes in within 3 kart lengths. Just a handful of corners to go. Not sure if he's going to have the time or track position to make anything stick, though. DeAngelis in the 3rd spot. Then it'll be Seward. Then it'll be Holden. Followed by Fairman and then Olin Galley. So in the final corner, Norberg's going to try and make it close, and he does. Kirkwood's going to get the win. Norberg going to get fastest lap of the race on the final lap. DeAngelis comes across 3rd. Then it'll be Seward, Holden, Fairman, Olin Galley, Gustavo Raffles, Julia Booz, Brandon Collins, Matthew Pasesh, Mauricio Hernandez, Carlos Rodriguez, Zach Banks, Shauna Andros, Franco Carabeta, and Elaine Sisdeli rounding out the field here in Rock Senior. So some heavy action early on here. And that is just a preview of what we're going to see moving forward here in the final round of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels. And just like that, folks, we are getting ready to go Masters Rock Heat Race action coming your way, so stay with us. We'll be back here in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again here as we are high above Palm Beach International Raceway below us. 0.8 of a mile road course, home the final round of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels. And on your screens now, you see Rock Masters. They're getting ready for heat race number 1 action. Let's meet the field. Row number 4 on the outside, Troy Trey Smith and Josh Martin. Row number 3, Bruno Fusaro, Janos Eiler. Row 2, Ryan Gordon, Daniel Reiger. Row run, Adam Pettit, Anthony Honeywell. We're green flag into turn number 1. Slide Job City. Looks that Reiger tries to throw one in there on Pettit. Nothing there. Into turn number 1 they go. Pettit pushing Honeywell down into the braking zone. 2x2 through the right hand of the motorsport.com complex. Now the left-hander, turn number 2, back to power we go. So we head off into turn number 3. Drivers all over the racetrack now, trying to find the right spot. But it will be Honeywell out in front of Pettit. And then I believe Daniel Reiger, your top 3 here early on lap number 1. So here come the leaders off turn number 11 for the first time. And Anthony Honeywell, your current points leader here in Masters, leads it by about 6 kart lengths. Now back again to the deep braking zone. Pettit going to overshoot just a little bit, and that one's going to cost him right here on the exit of turn number 2. Of course, turns 1 and 2, the motorsport.com complex here. And it is so difficult to be able to get some grip in that area as we go. Asphalt, concrete, asphalt. Here we go. Honeywell just continues to stretch this thing out here. May not be the biggest field of the year. However, the action has never left it. Still up front is that Praga machine of Anthony Honeywell, the 677. Talked to him just earlier this afternoon. He's going to do everything he can to go perfect this weekend. So he crosses the stripe one more time. You saw a quick lift over the left shoulder, but nothing to worry about. Beautiful view here at the motorsport.com complex. You can see the color transition, something we will talk about all weekend long. So difficult to get a handle on most go-kart tracks in the country, let alone one that changes surfaces like this one. Through the right-hander now, turn 4. Headed to turn number 5 is your leader, Anthony Honeywell, as he continues to open up that lead over Adam Pettit here in Masters. So as your leaders into turn number 1, Adam Pettit has something to say about Anthony Honeywell's lead. So that time by is just about 10th and a half faster, and the gap now down to 4.5 tenths of a second. So the 614 PCR machine of Adam Pettit closes in on your leader last time by, but it's still Anthony Honeywell. The Honey Badger out in front here. Beautiful view as the drivers work the cutbacks. A lot of right hand, left hand here. Varying speeds throughout. You can see him come right in front of the tower here at West Palm. Into turn number 11. Hard on the brakes, back to the throttle. Down the front stretch they go, tucked down. Honeywell, 58.3. to Pettit's 58.3. But Pettit has him a 3.96 to a 3.98. for the fastest lap of the event. Let's have a look at the order, though. Honeywell, Pettit, Reiger, Gordon, Eiler, Martin, Fusaro, and Smith. That is the running order here. You can see on your screen it appears that Pettit is closing in again this lap here on Anthony Honeywell. So Honeywell hoping to go perfect here and get a title. But Adam Pettit has other plans. Back down into turn number 11. It'll be 5 to go and they hit the stripe. Off the final corner. Another look over the shoulder, and the gap is definitely smaller. 58.300. Pettit goes purple. Now down to 3.5 tenths of a second. 58.367 of Honeywell to 58.300 of Pettit. And he's visually closed in the gap. In fact, he's there. So Pettit has got to make sure he doesn't start to overdrive it like it looked like he might have done there. He got to the back bumper, got a little greedy and lost 2 or 3 kart lengths. You got to stay focused when you get the opportunity on the leader like that. Pettit definitely has the speed, but he's going to have to be smarter than Honeywell also if he's going to pull this one off. As they head to turn number 11, 4 to go at the stripe. So Pettit backs it up here, 58.237. Honeywell's 58.271.324. Now the difference. But Adam Pettit gets one. A heck of a run off turn number 2. Into turn number 3. And, folks, he is knocking on the door. 3.5 laps remain here around Palm Beach International. Heat race number 1 action. For Masters Rock, this one brought to you by Bordonia Racing Engines. And now we've got ourselves a race. Anthony Honeywell, Adam Pettit, 1-2. Through the final corner. Coming to 3 to go now. That time by 58.317 for Pettit. 58.345 for Honeywell. Under 0.3 of a second now the gap. Even though it looks like Honeywell gets a little bit better of an exit shot on a few corners, but he screws up off turn number 3. So Honeywell misses his marks, opens the door for Pettit, and he starts to knock hard. Now down through a right-hander. Maybe a nose cone of a difference between first and second. And if Honeywell wants to keep this lead, as it'll be 2 to go at the stripe, he's going to have to stay focused to get these exit shots. But Adam Pettit, his own worst enemy right now, because every time he gets close enough to make a difference, he's overdriving that machine and sliding her all over the place. So 2 to go into turn number 1. Pettit, when he keeps his cool, he's just so smooth he can close it up. It's just doing something with it when he gets there. Into turn number 3. Honeywell hits his marks that time through 4 and out of 5. Left-hander at 5. Bit sweeping into the right-hander 6. Now be turn 7. Pettit not being shaken off as they head through turn 8. Now 9. Back around through 10. Headed turn number 11. Honeywell over the shoulder. Turn number 11. White flag in the air here for Masters Rock. Heat race number 1. Separated by about 1.5 cars into turn number 1. Onto the concrete. Pettit! Pettit takes out Honeywell. But the lead's so big, will it matter? Here comes Reiger. Reiger's going to make contact with Honeywell. Headed to turn number 3. Pettit bowling down an alleyway into turn number 1, just locked him up. We talked about not having the grip there. Pettit slides it all 4 in the fluff, takes out the leader Honeywell, but Honeywell keeps going, makes contact with Reiger. Now Daniel Reiger leads it. Just a few corners remaining. Reiger hopping in the seat, trying to hold on to it. Wasn't his fault what happened, but he's going to take full advantage. 3 cart lengths separate him. Into turn number 11. Honeywell on the brakes at the bottom. Honeywell contact with Reiger down the front straightaway. Reiger's going to win it over Honeywell. So a wild finish as Eiler's going to be 3rd, Gordon 4th, Josh Martin 5th, Adam Pettit will be 6th, Bruno Fusaro 7th, and Troy Trey Smith rounding out the field. But what an exciting final lap here in Masters. Honeywell led it at the white flag. Pettit threw it in at turn number 1, ran out of real estate in a hurry. So that's going to do it here for Masters Rock, brought to you by Bordonia Racing Engines. And we'll be back in just a few moments here with Mini Rock. So don't go anywhere, folks. You're tuned in to live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, brought to you by Fixie Wheels. All right, race fans, welcome back here to live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels, as we are high above Palm Beach International Raceway. So our last heat race was Masters, and that one sure was a barn burner. But now on track is Mini Rock, brought to you by Ocala Grand Prix And this field is big. 33 drivers. 33rd will be Victor Cirillo. Then it'll be up to row 16. Inside to out, Jonathan Lewis and Luca Mars. Row 15, Maria Jose Perez de Arte and Alejandro Cirillo. Row 14, Jordan Mange and Arturo Alcalde. Row 13, Donald Horton II and Justin White. Row 12, Jack Jeffers and Carson DeFonts. Row 11, Travis Devendorf and Geronimo Barrio. Row number 10, Alex Shankowski and Arias Duke Medjin. Row number 9, Andres Francisco Castro and Anthony Willis. Row number 8, Felipe Bartz and Isabella Robusto. Row number 7, William Robusto and Yusuf Mula. Row number 6, Tyler Maxon and Justin Arsenault. Row number 5, Santiago Tristany and Ashton Chilton. Row number 4 shows your points leader Derek Carmenante and Devin Gomez. Row number 3, Jetpack Jack Crawford and Matias Morgado. Row number 2, Sebastian Montoya and Caleb Bacon. And on the front row, a pair of Bennett carts. On the outside, the 148 of James Igozi. And on the pole, Ticket Clinic Special, the 155 Bennett, that is Reese Gold. So drivers on a crawling pace here, led by Reese Gold. As we are getting for one of the most action-packed classes of the weekend here, and that is Mini Rock, brought to you by Ocala Grand Prix. As you see the drivers, nice and slow and steady. A great view there of the Vortex Rock Towers high above Palm Beach International. Now our camera on Cam Ager. You'll see it when we do. In the tram lanes, getting ready to go. Inside lanes moving. Green flag in the air. And mayhem into turn number 1. And somehow they all come through cleanly. Gold, Montoya, then 3 cart lengths. Then it'll be Crawford, Ngozi, Carmenante 6 wide into turn number 1. Drivers off inside and out, but they're going to keep digging here. As drivers get through turn number 2. Looks like Montoya on the backside of Reese Gold through 3, now to turn number 4. So we have a stop driver on the track. That might be Anthony Willis. Looks like it might have stopped before they ever got a chance to go green. Some more issues on the racetrack. Here's the 121. Yusuf Mulam missing the front nose cone here. And that is, in fact, what's going on. But we watch for the leaders off turn number 11. They come by us for the first time. First lap complete. Gold, Montoya, Crawford, then Ngozi. Some more contact now at turn number 1. Drivers trying to get every bit that they can. So as they came by, it was Gold, Ngozi, Montoya, Bacon, Crawford, Morgado, Carmenante, Gomez, Tristany, and Chilton. That is certainly going to change here, though. There are passes being made everywhere. Top 4, though, kind of checked out just a little bit. Looks like Crawford got around Montoya. Which, in fact, he did. So Gold, Crawford, Montoya, Ngozi. Crawford to the inside. Nailed it. He's through off of turn number 11. So Gold now to the back bumper. Jetpack Jack Crawford as they head down to turn number 1. Tricky braking zone now. Through the right, now the left. Motorsport.com complex. You see drivers fighting for everything they can, using that braking zone in turns 1 and 2. to get what they can get, but Jetpack Jack Crawford out in front. All over him is Reese Gold. Agozi to the bottom of Montoya. And Agozi gets through here. So James Agozi around Montoya. Montoya back to fourth. No, Montoya got to fight back. So Montoya sticks it to the inside, and it works. Montoya on the barrel, battling in between two of the Bennecks. But it's the energy of Jetpack Jack Crawford out in front here as they come to 5 to go at the stripe. Of course, these heat races only 8 laps in length. To the start finish one more time, 5 to go. Crawford, Gold, 1, 2. Then a gap back to Montoya and Agozi. Then be Devin Gomez, Tyler Maxson, Santiago Tristani, Derek Carmenante, Matias Morgado, and William Robusto. But the man on the move, coming from almost dead last, Luca Mars now up to P15. So Luca Mars, the fastest driver on the racetrack with a lap time of 1:02.753, has already passed half the field up to P15, head down, and he's moving. So Gozi got around Montoya there. Montoya was not able to counter back that time. And Crawford has the biggest lead he's seen since he took it, of about 2 kart lengths over Reese Gold. We're going to keep tracking Luca Mars here. Looks like he's going to pass at least one more in turn number 11. 4 to go that time by into turn number 1. Crawford still leading Gold as they cross the stripe. Luca Mars up to 11th. So that young man on the comp cart came from the way back. Started 32nd on the grid. Up to P11 with 3.5 laps remaining. Top 10 as they sit. Crawford, Gold, Agozi, Montoya, Gomez, Maxson, Carmenante, Morgado, Robusto, and Justin Arsenault. Of course, fastest lap so far, 1:02.753 of Luca Mars. 10th and a half faster than any other driver so far in this heat race. Mars now on the backside of Arsenault, headed to turn number 11. Arsenault wants the push. He's going to get it. Mars not going to jump out on him just yet. Now into turn number 1. There'll be 2 to go as they get back to the stripe next time. That motorsport.com complex. Turns 1 and 2 showing to be where you can win it or lose it almost here so far early in heat race action today. But meanwhile, your leaders lapping around here. Nothing changing up front. So head towards turn number 7. Now the super fast 8, 9, 10 complex. You can see them now headed turn number 11. Crawford out in front of Reese Gold. Montoya pushing the back of Agozi through turn number 11. Double sticks in the air by Cam Ager. 2 laps to go. Gold all over the back of Jetpack Jack Crawford. Now into turn number 1. Some movers here to the bottom. Carmenante is going to lose 1. Now possibly a second. He's actually going to hold off there. As it was William Robusto. Morgado got around Carmenante for 7th in turn number 1. William Robusto tried to come through. Meanwhile, Luca Mars into 10th has definitely broken in here to the top 10 after starting 32nd. Drivers now through the 8, 9, 10 complex. Jetpack Jack Crawford out in front. He's going to run down the middle. Now the bottom of the racetrack. Into turn number 11. Move up for the braking zone. Gold, a little outside in, trying to get the momentum swing off the top shelf. White flag in the air. Gold to the outside as Crawford holds on to the bottom into the braking zone. Nothing there. Gold going to try and cross him. Crawford kind of loses some momentum there. Stops them both in their tracks. And now Gold's pushing Crawford down into turn number 3. Agozi blocking on Montoya. So this one is far from over here on the final lap. So 4 karts now battling for the lead here. Through turn number 5. Headed to the left-hander. Check that. The right-hander, turn 6. Crawford on the bottom. Gold around the outside. Nothing there. They meet in the middle. Now to turn number 7. Now the oh-so-important 8, 9, 10 complex. As this sets you up for your exit shot into turn number 11 in this long straightaway. Crawford to the bottom. Montoya, the solo effort on the top side. Gold's going to get to the bottom of Crawford. He goes for it. Nothing there. As they come to the stripe, 3 wide for second. Crawford, Gold, Montoya, Agozi, Tyler Maxson. It's how they cross the stripe. So that was wild here. Great finish in Mini Rock. Jack Crawford, your winner. Reese Gold, Sebastian Montoya, James Agozi, Tyler Maxson, Devin Gomez, Luca Mars, 32nd to 7th. William Robusto, 8th. Derek Carmenante, 9th. And Matias Morgado, 10th. So that's going to do it for Mini Rock. Coming up next, we've got Shifter Rock, Seniors and Masters, brought to you by Duke Spine. Stay tuned here, as we'll be back in just a few moments. We break off for a little station identification. You're watching the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here for heat race number 1 action at Palm Beach International Raceways. On track now, Brock Shifter, Senior and Masters. As we are kicking off the final round of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels. So let's meet the starting grid here with Masters. In the 15th row, Jesse Carrasquito. 14th row, Luis Jan Boucher, Daniel Laporta. Row number 13, Andres Fonseca and Farshad Bagari. Row 12, Victor Jimenez and Scott Davidson. Row number 11, Carlos Fonseca, Michael Legrand. Now on to your senior shifter drivers. Row number 8, inside the outside, Juan Acosta and Jonathan Law. Row number 7, Dev Gore, Dominic Legrand. Row number 6, Andrew Bujoso and Samuel Green. Row number 5, Jason Alden, Augusto Soto Sharipa. Row number 4, AJ Myers and John Franco Mazzafaro. Row number 3, Don Whittington, Cole Mathewson. Row number 2, Danny Formal, Colin Daly. And on the front row, on the outside, in the number 405 Bureau, that is Oliver Askew. To his inside, on the pole, the 429 Ocala Grand Prix Tony Kart, Austin Garrison. You see there on the starting cam, as well as seeing Cam Egger, you have the field there. So drivers here, getting ready. Moving back and forth here, getting the right spots. You'll see when they go to the clutch, it's getting ready to go. The eyes are all on Cam Egger. Garrison Askew on the front row here for senior. Fonseca Legrand in Masters. Green flag up. Now it's waving, off they go. A great start by Colin Daly. Daly's going to go to second. So Askew caught sleeping a little bit. Daly from 4th to 2nd. Now's ahead of turn number 1. Now off of 2, Garrison leads them. Daly is 2nd before Mao, Askew. Then I believe Whittington. So as they come through turn at number 11, Formal to the bottom of Daly. So Danny Formal passing his DR Kart teammate this weekend, Colin Daly. So heading to turn number 1, Garrison blows the corner. Garrison misses the corner, then makes contact with Daly. That's going to allow Askew to shift out of turn number 2 and get to the inside of Daly. Not going to be able to hold the spot, though, as Daly drives it in just a bit deeper. But that mistake by Austin Garrison is going to allow Danny Formal to take over the point here. So Garrison on your screen runs second. Formal leads it. And it'll be Daly. Then Askew. After Askew, it appears that it's going to be potentially A.J. Myers. But people wonder why that was such a crucial mistake by Austin Garrison. He got the 5 bonus points for the pole, which put him 27 points advantage overall on the points over Formal coming into this heat race. But that mistake puts Danny Formal up front. If you've been around karting in the last decade, you know that it's one thing to catch a Danny Formal, but it's a whole nother thing to be able to pass him. So Formal given a gift here. In the grand scheme of things, with the points, a little look over the shoulder. 8 to go this time here as they go back through 1, now 2. Garrison has definitely closed back up to Formal somewhat. Last time by, a 54.874 for Danny Formal. 56.110 for Garrison. 55.505 for Daly. It's your top 3. But the track here at Palm Beach International has provided us with stunning racing so far. Heat Race 1 action. And hopefully it's just a glimpse of what we've got coming for you all weekend. I wish I could see the look on Don Gilbo's face right now. Importer DR Karts out of the Northeast. He has put so much time, effort, resources. Here comes Garrison. Nailed it. Garrison to the lead. So just as I was talking about all the resources thrown at the DR karting program in recent time, Garrison throws one in on Formal in turn number 1 and reclaims what he gave up very generously early on. And now leads Danny Formal by about 2 kart lengths as they come back through the cutbacks. That's allowed Colin Daly and Oliver Askew to join the fight up front here. It's a 4-kart battle for the lead. That last time by, Garrison went purple, and he did it a 1/10 of a second faster than anyone has gone. Just to kind of clarify, he had a .166 lead at the stripe and made the pass stick in turn number 1. So what an effort there by Austin Garrison. Speaking of Mike Speed earlier on in the weekend, he loves this rock shifter package that Ocala Grand Prix just continues to improve on. He was very excited to see what Garrison was going to have for the rest of the field. And so far, so good, as he just is now stretching away from Danny Formal. Garrison, Formal, Daly, Askew, A.J. Myers, Don Whittington, Cole Mathewson, Andrew Bajoso, Gianfranco Mazzafaro, Dominic Legrand, your top 10 in senior. Carlos Fonseca leads it in Masters, followed by Victor Jimenez, Scott Davidson, Andres Fonseca, Michael Legrand, Daniel Laporta, Farshad Bagheri, Luis Jean Boucher, and Jesse Carrasquito. So those are your running orders, but nothing changing elsewhere on the racetrack. So we're looking to go 3 to go next time by here. For Rock Shifter, Senior and Masters. This one brought to you by Duke Spine. If you got a kink in the back, go see the doctor. If you're looking for something to do, just go look at his trailer. Meanwhile, out in front, it continues to be Austin Garrison. He has gone purple now 2 laps in a row. Little look over the shoulder. 3 laps remaining, 53.9 to a 53.8 to a 53.8 to a 54.0. That is your top 4. Into turn number 3. Garrison still out in front of Formal by about 4 kart lengths. Maybe 3 through the center. But Garrison Garrison strong suits 2 spots here. One, exit shots are unbelievable. And just the raw power down the straightaway. He is able to fill a gap so quickly. Now through the 7, 8, 9 complex. Now off of 10, headed to turn number 11. Garrison continues to lead Farmal. Dual sticks in the air, 2 laps remaining. Nothing changing here in the top 5 of Senior Masters. We look down to our Masters division. And Fonseca, Carlos Fonseca, 13th overall of 25 karts, leading P1 in Masters. Victor Jimenez on the Tony Kart runs second. Davidson third. Andres Fonseca in fourth. And Michael Legrand, top 5 in Masters. Lap and a half remains here for Austin Garrison. He had the whole shot off the starting lanes. Led it early, gave it away, recovered, took it back. Now he's 1 lap away from heat race victory. So into turn number 11 for the final time. Austin Garrison is going to lead him to the start-finish. He will be your senior shifter winner, followed by Danny Formal, Colin Daly, Oliver Askew, A.J. Myers, Don Whittington, Cole Mathewson, Andrew Bajoso. Then it should be Jason Alden as it is, and Dev Gore rounding out your top 10. Carlos Fonseca will be 11th overall, first in Masters. And after that in Masters, it is Victor Jimenez, second. Scott Davidson, third. Andres Fonseca, fourth. Michael Legrand, fifth. And that'll do it here for heat race number 1. For Shifter, Senior, and Masters, brought to you by Duke Spine. So don't go anywhere, folks. Micro Rock coming your way next. We're going to pan off a little station identification, as you will. We'll be back soon. This is, once again, live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Palm Beach International Raceway. This is live and continuing coverage. The 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels, and on your screens, that is Micro Rock. This one brought to you by AM Engines. And now it's time to meet the field. Starting in row number 15, inside to out, Rafael Turan, Francisco Moriano. Row number 14, Victor Cirillo and Danny Desleski. Row number 13, Jacob Gerke and Ian Aguilaro Eduard. Row number 12, Sebastian Guerra and Jesse Carrasquito. Row number 11, Riker Mattis and Paul Brocusi. Row number 10, Miguel Costa, Tanner Garvin. Row 9, Jack Jeffers, Frankie Ladevia. Row number 8, Granger Pera, Noah Baker. Row number 7, Ian Sebastian Leon, Nicholas Embiato. Row number 6, Freddie Slater, Leandro Juncos. Row number 5, Emo Fittipaldi, Nikita Johnson. Row number 4, Nicholas Terlecki, Connor Zilich. Row number 3, Paige Crawford, Lucas Rodriguez. Row number 2, Jeremy Fletcher, Alex Popow. And on the front row, on the outside, Anderson Leonard, and on the pole, the number 43 Bennick. That is Oliver Denny. And these drivers getting ready to go here for 8 laps of heat race number 1 action. Here, drivers go into their tram lanes. Waiting for Cam Ager and the flag. Green flag. We're underway. 6 wide into turn number 11 here off the start as they come back to the front straightaway. All drivers clean and green. Fletcher to second behind Denny. Fletcher now to the inside going into turn number 1. Nailed it. Jeremy Fletcher to the lead. So the young driver here from the great state of Florida waste no time coming from third to first here as they're heading out of turn number 3. Fletcher, Denny, then it'll be Leonard. 1, 2, 3. Then I believe Alex Popow in the 4th spot. As drivers worked their way off turn number 5, now headed to turn number 6. Denny all over the back of Jeremy Fletcher. Get a good glimpse there. Paige Crawford and Connor Zilich. Then it should be Nicholas Terlecki. As we get back to timing and scoring here, as we'll see him after they come off turn number 11 this time. Denny does not go to the bottom. There, Fletcher. Cross the stripe. Here we go. Nothing moving into turn number 1. Jeremy Fletcher leads it. Oliver Denny second. Off of turn number 3, Denny sets up on the outside, trying to get a run through the center on Fletcher. Nothing there. A little bit of a big move there on the exit of turn number 4. Back to turn number 5. They get in line. Fletcher about cart length or so to the bottom. That's his preferred line there. Now back, I believe it's turn 6. Now 7, headed to the 8, 9, 10 complex. Top 5 starting to break away a little bit. Denny now to the bottom of Fletcher. Nothing there. Off turn number 11 one more time. Across the stripe. 6 laps remaining. Jeremy Fletcher, Oliver Denny, Anderson Leonard, Alex Popow, Paige Crawford, Nikita Johnson, Connor Zilich, Nicholas Terlecki, Noah Baker, Lucas Rodriguez. Top 10 here. It's now a 2-cart breakaway. Oliver Denny on the backside of Jeremy Fletcher. You can see Denny doing everything he can to stay to the back bumper. Jeremy Fletcher and that Tony Kart. In fact, Oliver Denny using the curbs and then some. Now to the back bumper of Fletcher. To the braking zone at 11. Nothing there. Down the front straightaway. Bump draft is a go. Paige Crawford to the bottom of Popow into turn number 1. And she gets it. So Fletcher still leads at Popow now to the back of Crawford in turn number 3. Popow back to 4th. All alone in 3rd is Anderson Leonard. Fletcher, Denny, 1-2. Denny, purple last time by, 104.088. So a minute 4.088 to a minute 4.091 of Fletcher. As they continue to work the cut through, cut back, cut over, whatever you want to call it. You watch Oliver Denny just use up those curbs. Now headed down to turn number 11. And Denny has not poked his head out. So we've got a local yellow here in turn 11. That's now clear. Headed to the start finish. 4 laps remaining. So Denny continues to work the backside of Jeremy Fletcher, the 22 and the 43, 1 and 2. Down to turn number 11. Oliver Denny continues to push. Jeremy Fletcher, 3 laps to go here at the stripe. As you see the drivers hitting those same consistent marks lap after lap. Now down into the motorsport.com complex, turns 1 and 2. Quick right, left, slow speed. Now back to the throttle. Fletcher has that Tony Kart dialed, as does Oliver Denny on the Binnick. About 2.5 laps remain here. Off turn number 11 one more time. 2 laps remaining into turn number 1. Oliver Denny on the back of Jeremy Fletcher. A little bit delayed reaction in both the right and the left by Denny, and now it shows. He just kind of got in late to the right and left-handers, and that let Jeremy Fletcher just take off like a rocket. So now Jeremy Fletcher taking full advantage of Oliver Denny's mistakes in turns 1 and 2. Leads him now by about 7 or 8 kart lengths as they work the penultimate lap here. 7, 8, 9, 10 complex. Now headed to turn number 11. It's the biggest gaps that this class has had the whole time. Off the final corner, white flag in the air for Jeremy Fletcher. Let's give them a rundown as they come by. Fletcher, Denny, then it'll be Anderson Leonard, Alex Popow, Paige Crawford, Freddie Slater, Connor Zilich, Nicholas Terlecki, Noah Baker, and Nikita Johnson. Oliver Denny trying to close back in to Jeremy Fletcher. And race fans, I think he's there. So he's going to give Fletcher one final shot here for the win. As they come just below us now, as we are high above Palm Beach International Raceway. 0.8 of a mile road course. 2 corners remain. Denny with the run. Fletcher's going to go to the bottom. Denny's going to go with him. Denny's going to go even further to the inside. Nailed it. Oliver Denny to the lead. Here comes Fletcher. Who's it going to be? Wow. And Fletcher gets it by .019. So Jeremy Fletcher able to cross back underneath Oliver Denny here at the stripe. Top 10 as they finish. Jeremy Fletcher, Oliver Denny, Anderson Leonard, Freddie Slater, Alex Popow, Paige Crawford, Connor Zilich, Nicholas Terlecki, Noah Baker, and Nikita Johnson. And folks, that's gonna wrap up Micro Rock. That one brought to you by AM Engines. So stay tuned as we've got one more heat race coming your way. Junior Rock, brought to you by Orsalon Racing. We duck out for one more station identification. This is live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, brought to you by Fixie Wheels. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels, is now on track. We've got Rock Jr., brought to you by Orsilon Racing, the final heat race of the day. Well, let's see where they're going to line up. In row number 12, Mark Donato. Row number 11, inside to out, Andres Karam and Jose Alvarado. Row number 10, Nicholas Sanchez, Arias Duke Medjin. Row number 9, Emiliano Richards and Garrett Hughes. Row number 8, Henry Cubitus and Nicholas D'Orlando. Row number 7, Pedro Lopes and Dylan DeFonts. Row number 6, Jesus Suleiman and Lachlan DiFrancesco. Row number 5, Matias Ramirez and Anthony Zapponi. Row number 4, Gabriel Petrulli, Tyler Gonzalez. Row number 3, Pedro Goulart, Zachary Hollingshead. Row number 2, Matthew Latifi, Jet Nolan. And on the front row, the outside, the 251 of Michael D'Orlando. And on the pole, the Tony Kart 216 of Ryan McDermott. We've got an OTK front row here coming your way. You can see Cam Ager on the dig cam. Green flags in the air to turn number 11. And the slingshot from the outside works as Michael D'Orlando's going to lead him, and then we've got him stacking up like a Walmart parking lot. Down the front stretch, we got him sideways. Yes. Everybody keeping all four on the ground. But Ramirez out with an axle. You got, I believe, Petrulli, if not 2 or 3 more, down the front straightaway here. 1 driver, 2 driver, 3 drivers all out of their carts. Meanwhile, out in front, Michael D'Orlando, McDermott. Then it'll be Hollingshead. As officials still tending to the carts on the front straightaway. But here come the leaders, headed to turn number 11. Yellow flags in the air. So we'll see which drivers have their thinking caps on today and which ones don't. So far, so good as they stay single file through turn number 11. Here come the leaders for the first time. D'Orlando, McDermott, Hollingshead. That's the top 3 here. Now off turn number 2, headed down the long straightaway, turn number 3. D'Orlando, McDermott to the bottom. Now back up to the normal line. It's going to allow Hollingshead to close in just a little bit. Jet Nolan 4th, Matthew Latifi, Pedro Goulart, Tyler Gonzalez, Garrett Hughes, Pedro Lopes, Anthony Zapponi was the top 10 last time by as they head off turn number 5. Into turn number 11. Yellow flags now gone. You see your leader, Michael D'Orlando, out in front. Now Matias Ramirez out after the start of that one. That's got big changes for the points. As coming into this heat race, Matias Ramirez held on to a 157-point advantage over Michael D'Orlando, and this one's going to change things up potentially moving forward. Meanwhile, speaking of changes, Ryan McDermott got around Michael D'Orlando. D'Orlando throws another slide job back, but McDermott once again. So now it's a 5-man battle for the lead. McDermott, D'Orlando continue to play games here. It's allowed Hollingshead to close at the back of D'Orlando, as well as Jet Nolan and Matthew Latifi joining the fight. Now to turn number 11. Into turn number 1. D'Orlando's going to come through. Hollingshead tries to come with him. Nothing there. Off the corner. That's going to allow D'Orlando to open up about a 2 to 3 cart length advantage. So big changes here as we've lost McDermott and Hollingshead. So Hollingshead and McDermott make contact. That's going to leave Michael D'Orlando out in front with Jet Nolan and Matthew Latifi. Latifi to the bottom of Nolan in turn number 11. That's going to move him up to second. So action all across the board here. As D'Orlando leads it over Latifi and Nolan. McDermott now to fourth after the contact last time around. Lopes in fifth. Gonzalez sixth. Zapponi seventh. Goulart eighth. Hughes and Duke Medjin up to 10th. Nicholas D'Orlando 11th. Speaking of Nicholas D'Orlando, I know myself and the entire Max Speed group would like to wish a happy birthday to Private U.S. Air Force Private Adam Johnson, who is spinning the wrenches for Nicholas D'Orlando. So for myself and everyone here, buddy, happy birthday. Meanwhile, back to your leader, Michael D'Orlando through turn number 3. Now to turn number 4. Nothing changing in the top 5 as the closest battle seems to be for second. That's about a half-second separation between Latifi and Nolan. Off turn number 11 one more time. So we catch up here with timing and scoring, and D'Orlando throws it away. D'Orlando misses the corner in turn number 1 hard into the barriers. Here comes McDermott. Now Gonzalez. Now 2, maybe 3 more into turn number 3. So the plot continues to thicken here in Junior Rock. D'Orlando had just gone purple at a 57.867 and just simply lost it here, turn number 1. But he's not done yet. He continues to try and fight back here. It'll be 3 to go at the line. This one puts it in the hands of Matthew Latifi, but he's got a bumper full of Jet Nolan. Through turn number 11, 3 laps to go here. Then McDermott, D'Orlando, then Gonzalez. After Gonzalez, it'll be Zapponi and Lopes. McDermott holding off D'Orlando through 1 and 2, the motorsport.com complex. And Latifi now stretching away from Jet Nolan. So Latifi trying to stretch his legs here. Back to Jet Nolan in second, McDermott third, D'Orlando, and then Gonzalez, your top 5. So there you see it, McDermott third, D'Orlando fourth, Gonzalez fifth. Then Zapponi and Lopes as they head now to turn number 11. 2 laps to go here. Dual sticks in the air for Matthew Latifi. Jet Nolan, McDermott, D'Orlando. Gonzalez gets a bump there from Zapponi getting into turn number 1, able to keep it under control. D'Orlando looks to the bottom of McDermott, nothing there. He's going to get back in line as they head to turn number 3. Now to the inside of McDermott in number 4, and he's through. So D'Orlando now to third, as that is the race that we watch for that 3rd, 4th, 5th position. Michael D'Orlando, Ryan McDermott, Tyler Gonzalez. Anthony Zapponi, and Pedro Lopes. The Orlando able to stretch out about 2 cart lengths now as McDermott and Gonzalez try and run him down into turn number 11. White flag in the air, though, for Matthew Latifi here in junior. The battle for third. McDermott crosses DeOrlando to the bottom. He's through. DeOrlando hooks the wheel, and he's going to lose 3 more. So the racing, the intensity continues to be on point here in Junior Rock. Brought to you by Orsalon Racing as we work the final lap of the day here. Matthew Latifi long gone as they hit turn number 7. Not a worry in the world for the young Canadian on board his Tony Kart, the 218 machine. Heading out of turn number 11 for the final time. We'll read them to you when they get to the stripe, but we know the winner. The 218, Matthew Latifi takes it. Then it'll be Jet Nolan, followed by Ryan McDermott, Tyler Gonzalez, Anthony Zapponi, Michael DeOrlando, Pedro Lopes, Pedro Goulart, Henry Cubitus, Emiliano Richards rounds out your top 10. And folks, that's going to do it for heat race number 1 action. For myself, Chris Wheeler, along with everybody here from Max Speed Entertainment, we want to thank you for joining us today with our live coverage, the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels. And we will see you tomorrow as we continue this coverage. Until then, have a wonderful evening.